All right, guys, welcome back to Wealth and Travel on a Dime. So, today I want to talk to you about high yield savings accounts and why they're important. Now, a lot of people don't even know what you're talking about when you say HYSA or high yield savings accounts. You do not know how many people I've met that just have no clue what they are. So, let's break it down like this. For the most part, and there is credit unions, there is other things, but high yield savings accounts are generally held by online banks. Some of the bigger players in that space are Ally, SoFi, Capital One. So, what makes them different from your normal banks is they don't usually have brick and mortar stores. They live online basically. And by not having all that overhead of the brick and mortar stores like employees, day to day employees in there, offices, rent, etc., they're able to do the same thing that regular banks do with your money, but return some of that capital to you based upon what kind of account you are and what the Fed funds rate's at. Now, the one thing I do want to say is all the information I'm going to give you is based upon March of 2024. All right? The Fed fund rates move and the interest rates move. Okay, that's important to understand. So when I quote a certain interest rate right now, it does not mean it will be the same in the future. But in comparison to brick and mortar banks, online banks like Ally, SoFi, Capital One, all the ones that carry the high yield savings accounts blow the regular banks out of the water. I mean, just completely. So, when we talk about these, I think it's important to understand how they work because you log in, you do everything online. Now, a lot of people argue that you can't do everything you can do at a bank. You can do every single thing you do at a bank now. Capital One has made that possible. And I'll go into more later on exactly what I'm talking about. But for right now, I want to explain the difference of, say, Capital One, who we feel is the best online bank with the best high yield savings account, not because it has the highest amount, but because it acts more like a traditional bank. But we're going to compare it to another quality brick and mortar bank, which is Chase. All right. I have nothing against Chase. I like a lot of their credit card products. I think that they are a good bank. But at the same time, they are doing the exact same with your money that Capital One is doing with your money, but there's a giant difference on what they give you. So if you were to go open a Chase checking or a Chase savings right now, the rate they will pay you is 0.01%. That's right, 0.01% is what you're going to be making on that money that you have in your savings account or that you have in your checking account. Now, let's compare that to Capital One. So if you have a Capital One checking account, you will be getting 0.10% for your checking. Not a lot, but it's more than Chase. Now, if you have a Capital One savings account, at this moment in time, you are receiving 4.35% for your money. That's a huge difference. Compare that to Chase at 0.01%. Now, a lot of people are going to say, Tony, I don't get it. You're spouting off a bunch of percentages. All right? So, let's break it down like this. If you had $1,000 in a Chase checking account, or a Chase savings account, $1,000 for 1 year, you're going to make 10 cents off that account in interest. 10 cents. Now, if you had that same $1,000 in an account for a year at Capital One in their checking, well, then you're going to make $1. If you have that same $1,000 in the Capital One savings account for 1 year, $1,000 in there for 1 year, you're going to make $43.50. Do you see the difference? If you hold money in a bank, especially in a savings, then it's time to look at the online banks, guys, because you're literally leaving money on the table. All right, 10 cents versus $43.50. Now, the online banking has had one giant downfall ever since they came out, and that's cash. And this is where Capital One separates itself from the competition. Because now, and for the last year, we've been testing their new system. Their new system is you can walk into any CVS and any Walgreens. Walk up to the front desk. Open your app up. Go into your Capital One checking, scroll it down, and you'll see a spot where you can click it to upload cash. You show it to the cashier. They scan it with a gun. You hand them the cash, walk out of the store. Within 5 minutes, you'll have instant access to your money. It'll already be in your account. Done. Now, if you want to move that to your savings out of your checking, you can instantly do that. And you can instantly move it back. So you have full freedom with your money. But you no longer have to go put it in a bank and then send it to an online bank to get your high yield savings account. Now, by them doing that, I have no need for an actual bank anymore. I still have them open because having a bank account open is good for your credit, let's be honest. But I no longer send money to those banks. I keep enough in there. I throw a few dollars in and out as necessary to keep them active. But I can go put money in the bank now without having to have these brick and mortar banks. The reality is they take your money and they borrow it out. How do you think home loans happen? Personal loans. They use your money to make money. The difference is regular banks, PNC, all the normal credit unions around you, Chase, all these banks are paying you nothing to hold your money. Why wouldn't you put your money where it can make money? It doesn't seem like much, but once you start seeing those interest payments hit your account every month, you're going to be glad you did this. And sometimes you can check in. I've seen times where Capital One's been giving you a $250 bonus for signing up. I will put links below. They're not affiliate links. I don't get anything if you sign up. And if you feel like you'd rather have a higher rate, you can go to Ally or SoFi. I do not believe they have a cash upload system yet, but I'm sure someday they will. But the reality is if you're getting this kind of option, I mean, if you can make $43 off every 1,000 you hold, if you're a saver, that's going to add up real quick. If you're holding money in this kind of account, say you have $5,000 or $10,000 in Chase as an emergency fund, you're making nothing. You're making 50 cents a year. Take that same amount, slap it in this high yield savings account through Capital One. You will not be disappointed. It is so simple to sign up, open these two accounts, then you will be able to deal with everything you would do banking, but direct to the system. Put direct deposit straight to your savings account there, and just the time you hold that money in that savings account before you have to spend it, you will make money every month. And who doesn't like getting more money for free? You're already doing it now. Why not upgrade to a high yield savings account? Now, another thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is when you go deposit money in a bank, like at an ATM or something, a lot of these banks don't have instant access. You have to wait till the next business day in order to access that money. With Capital One, that is not a thing. You upload it, it is instantly available. That can be a really big deal. They do have check scan in and other options to put money in. Now, I want to talk about why we go to Capital One over others. Ally has been around probably one of the longest and best known high yield savings accounts in online banks. And I think that they are a very solid bank, but they make a lot of loans, which kind of to me makes them a little bit dangerous with what we've seen happen with banks lately. I don't think anything would happen to them. Too many banks would be beating down the door to buy out Ally if something happened. SoFi, I really like SoFi. I used to be with them. They started popping up where they were trying to become profitable, adding fees, removing their crypto, removing how stocks are bought. They still allow stocks to be bought on their platform, but there's different fee structure now. At the end of the day, Capital One has an entire credit card network behind them. This is not where they make their long money. They make their money off the credit cards. But it makes me feel good to know they have that secondary business sitting right there. Too many banks have been folding lately, guys. If we're going to have our money in these things, we should be making money. We should be profiting from this. And it's a lot of these smaller, centralized banks that are falling. So when you go to your neighborhood branch and think your money's safe, I think I'd rather have mine in something bigger like Capital One. Now, this is obviously just my opinion. This is just some opinion of some guy that's on YouTube. But at the end of the day, a lot of people don't realize that there's money to be made for doing nothing. For doing what you're doing now. Depositing your paycheck into your bank account, into your savings account. Maybe you're holding an emergency fund. It's just sitting there. Why isn't it making money? I would encourage you to go check out Capital One. See if it's for you, or find yourself some kind of high yield savings account. I believe it will help you create wealth from something you're already doing. And I think it doesn't get any easier than that. It is literally free money because you're already doing it. You just do it somewhere else that'll pay you more. And with that said, check your bank. If nothing else, this video promotes you just do one thing. Go check your bank. Go see how much interest you're making per year. It's as simple as Googling it. Pick it up, talk into your phone, say, blah, 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 bank, interest yearly. And look, because I can promise you your neighborhood bank is giving you diddly squat. And you owe it to yourself to be making as much money as possible on your money because you work hard for it. And with that said, if you haven't already, I don't know why you wouldn't have by now. Go down, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can see all of our upcoming videos. Make sure you leave us a like. Comment, let me know, do you have a high yield savings account? I'd love to hear from you guys. If so, where do you hold it at? What's your favorite online bank? Or have you even heard of this product? Is this something you've never heard of and you're going to go check it out? I'd love to hear from you. And with that said, I will see you in the next one.